Hey everybody, Ed here, and I wanted to show you a couple of big changes in my workflow for 2013. I've been experimenting with it, and close people who have been following along will notice that I've mentioned this particular application, but it has definitely become an official replacement. Now, the application I'm, of course, talking about is there in the bottom left-hand corner, and it's called Pocket. Now, for years, I was an Instapaper user. I'll explain what these apps do because it's really very important. But the bumper sticker is that I have now dumped Instapaper and now using Pocket, and there are some very, very good reasons for doing so. Another change that I've made, which I'm not going to go into this application too much today, except to show you how I use the workflow and why Pocket becomes so important, is Mr. Reader. And Mr. Reader has replaced Reader, R-E-E-D-E-R, on the iPad for my Google News reading. So you can see here it's a Monday morning here in Australia. It's a lazy Sunday afternoon, and I've only got a mere 199 items to go through. Mr. Reader is incredibly, incredibly efficient and gives you an extraordinary number of options in terms of how to deal with things. And as we talk about new things that we're replacing with in using services like if this, then that, instead of Posterous, and a bunch of other changes that we'll be rolling out and showing you guys over the course of the next couple of months, it becomes even more powerful. But even at this most basic level, there's just a couple of things I briefly want to show you. Typically, I would go into the Vital Reads section first, which are the feeds that I want that are of most interest to me, and I go in there and have a look at what's going on. Now, of course, the beautiful thing, one of the things Mr. Reader does, which is really great, is as soon as these links go off the screen, check this out, if I roll back, it's automatically marked them as unread. You can go, if you accidentally make a mistake, of course, you can go back and have a look at one. No problems whatsoever. But if you don't need to, and if you're running through these things that you typically would, it's a fantastic time saver. So that's step one. Again, this is not a Mr. Reader tutorial. It's a Pocket tutorial, so I want to keep it quick. So as I scroll through here, and if I see something that's interesting, I've got a couple of choices. I could just tap on the article here and go through and have a look. But this one's actually got a video in it, and it's from Mashable, and or in this case, sorry, Engadget. And Engadget does that horrifically annoying thing of truncating their RSS feeds. Okay, 20% thing. Basically what it means is that they deliberately cut the RSS feed article to force you to go and have a look at the website, which is a real pain in the neck, because if you go to the web and by just tapping the web button, look at all this time it takes to load. Now, of course, I'm lucky I'm on a pretty decent selection right here, but boy, oh boy, oh boy, it can often, there's so much overhead in these things and so much other stuff and ads and everything that we don't want to see. So the great thing about this, and if I actually tap off this, it'll of course show it that it's red. If I saw that was a video and that was something, I just tap this little, you can see the little, at the very right-hand side in the grayed out area, there's a circle, a star, a tag, and a share button. That's the universal share icon. And you can have a look at all of these things that I can do here. I can post this to, and this is why, Mr. Reader is really extraordinary. I can put it into email. I can send it to Buffer. I can send it to Twitter, Evernote, Google+. Like I said, this is not a Mr. Reader tutorial. It's a Pocket tutorial. So I just want to tap Pocket and send that off to Pocket. Now, another thing that Mr. Reader does, which is awesome, is that I can actually change this. So I can make the title, if I want to, something that's relevant to me to remind me. I'm not going to do that in this case, but it's very good. So I can scroll through these things incredibly quickly and just see if there's something. There's another one, Mac Rumors. And again, Mac Rumors is a classic because it, again, truncates the feed sometimes. So I can go in and I'm going to tap that little share icon and just hit Pocket. and it goes off to Pocket. Now, my workflow for Pocket, which is exactly the same reason that Instapaper exists, is that I don't have time to read this stuff now, but it is important. It is something I want to read at a time which is convenient to me. And intrinsic and most important when you're using that app is then once you have utilized that app, then you've also, when you read that article, you want to be able to send it wherever you need to send it. And so that is also very important. And we'll see how, and that was what I was worried about with Pocket, if you will, that it didn't have the same functionality as Instapaper. Okay, so enough about Mr. Reader. Again, we'll come back to Mr. Reader in a future video tutorial because it is incredibly powerful, and I've literally just scraped the surface. So let's have a look at Pocket. And the most important thing, and perhaps one of the two of the key criteria here for me making it my recommendation for all you 100,000 odd people who are following me, bless your little cotton socks, is that A, it's free, and B, its cross-platform functionality is exceptional. It works really well on Android and iOS, and it's exactly the same. So it works just brilliantly on each platform. Looks great on each platform. It's a really beautiful looking Android app. So it works beautifully, and it is free, and it's free to use. So Instapaper, of course, costs money. And I never begrudge paying Instapaper money because it's a great app and I use it every single day, or I did use it every single day. But the Pocket team just really have, as you'll very shortly see as I open up this app, the other great thing about it is look how much nicer it looks. Like they've really thought about the look and feel. There are two different types of looks to have a look. And I love the fact that they show you the source tweet, so you can go back and have a look at that if you want to. You could even retweet that article if that's the thing that you want to have a look at. But this is a great article which I didn't have the chance to have a look at. And, we can do page flipping, and it automatically senses actually whether you're doing page flipping or scrolling up and down and switches it, which is pretty impressive. But for the moment, let's have a look back here at the main screen. So you can have this newspaper, magazine-y style layout, which is the one I prefer on the iPad in particular, or you can have a much more efficient list. And in fact, when you use the iPhone version or an Android phone version, this is the sort of look you get, which is fantastic. You'll also see that it does a great job of filtering things by articles, videos, and images. So if I go, and there won't be any images because I really haven't put any images in my queue. I wonder if there are any videos. Here we are. Look, it's been able to let me know which ones are video. I find this really good because there are certain points in time where I don't want to be looking at a video, or I can't, it's not appropriate. I don't have headphones on, or I'm in front of the television. I don't want to disturb anybody. So by being able to have that video filter and being able to do it in this way, just great idea. Really works very well. And that means when I've got a chance to use video and look at video, I can have a look at that. The settings in terms of Pocket are when you tap the little Pocket icon there, you can see where you've got a home page, you've got favorites, and you can also have a look at archive. You can simply click archive by tapping the tick, and we'll go into that in a second. We've also got a great options screen. We've got edit account. We've got manage site subscriptions. They have deals with some certain content providers, so you can put in your username and password and they'll be able to get that. And when we have a look at reading, Pocket will automatically decide the best view article or web view to show. So if it hasn't got a good fit, there are a lot of sites that are blocking readers, then it'll go and grab the web page for you. It has scroll bar and enables page flipping left and right if you want to do it. I'm actually going to turn that off because I actually find scrolling more efficient. Sort of flipping is a sort of a thing of the past. So offline downloading, download best view, yes. Download only on Wi-Fi, I've got no because I don't want to do that. Use mobile user agent, yes, because that tells the site what it's all about, and so on. I can refresh the list, sort by newest, which I prefer to do. Show app badge count, which I've turned to off. And a dark theme is very handy for when it is nighttime. Okay, which is a really handy thing because otherwise you can blind yourself, trust me. And then you've got all sorts of different, oops, no, I don't want to log out services. I'll show you the sharing of services in a sec. Lots of different options for sharing, which is just fantastic. Okay, so there we have it. We've got your classic refresh. And this little pencil is a classic multiple edit. And in fact, it's got this great little thing where you select the items, tap an action to apply the item. So you can delete a whole bunch, star a whole bunch, or archive a whole bunch. Works really well for that. So let's have a look and see what you can do when you go into an article. Let's have a look at this. Sleep is more important than food. So this looks really interesting. Lately we've been focusing on things, different amateurs and experts. There you go. That's interesting. Study of famous violinists. Top performers slept an average of 8 hours, including 20-30-minute mid-nap afternoon, some 2 hours more a day than the average American. The top violinists also reported, except for practice itself, sleep was the most second important factor. Funny, I've been reading this amazing book called Willpower, which again we'll talk on another time, and the science that backs this up is getting to the irrefutable stage. So if you're not getting enough sleep, very important. Anywho, this is a great article, and I'm thinking, wow, this is something that I want to spread. So you can see here we've got a share menu, and at the moment I've got Buffer, Twitter, and Facebook, which are my 3 most used share items. We can click on this more, and you can see that there's a whole bunch of things: copy, email, article view, and then you can look at all these services: Buffer, Delicious, Django, Evernote, Pinboard, Reddit, StumbleUpon, and you can send it to apps like OmniFocus. If I want to follow this up for OmniFocus, if I want to send it to Tweetbot, fantastic. So one of the things I was worried about changing from Instapaper was the ability to share things, because it's one thing to read and consume this sort of information. It's another completely separate thing to be able to actively use it like a traffic cop. So you're sending, wow, I want this audience to see this piece of information. I want this group to see this. Oh, I think I'm going to do a blog post on this. So for example, if I thought this was good for a blog post, I can take it to OmniFocus here, and you can have a look here. The note, check this out. It's already in there. How awesome is that? Save. I can put in the project here, which I have, which is article ideas. Boom. So I can see, and let's have a look at context. Usually I start my articles with a notepad or an iPad. In this case, press save. Boom, it's done. And, oops, back to Pocket. How cool is that? Right, this is powerful, powerful stuff, folks. So as a workflow, all of a sudden you've got much better looking content, okay, which is super duper important. It's much more appropriate. And in fact, I tend to, I must admit, particularly on the iPad mini, read things like this. And it's even got an auto lock button because I prefer the holding things like that. And of course on the iPad mini, which is where I probably do most of this stuff, I must say, these days, holding it in this orientation is a great way. But for the purpose of the video, let's keep it back here. It's so powerful. It's free. It's got everything that Instapaper had. It's cross-platform, unlike Instapaper, which does have an Android app, and it's okay. But the Android development is absolutely as important as the iOS development. So it means that anybody can utilize this application. And as a workflow partner and as an incredibly powerful element to your market leadership and market influence, it's absolutely core because it allows you to process this information at a time and a place that's really appropriate for you. So I'm talking triple thumbs up when it comes to Pocket. I have dumped Instagram, and now I'm a full-time Pocket user, and I would heartily recommend that you do so as well. I haven't even shown you the sign-up process here, but the sign-up process when you've got a new account is excellent as well. It really helps you go through it. So if you're an Android user or you're an iOS user, hook up Pocket to your Google Reader account and you are away to the races. So enjoy this. Have a go of Pocket. I think you will really, really love it.